Hi, my beautiful babies. Welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Reviews. Welcome back to another episode. Thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Candace. I really appreciate you guys being here for another episode. In today's video, that was a long we're gonna talk at the end of the video really quick because I've been doing some reading. Obviously, I mean, this is a channel where we review books, but I've been doing some non-romance reading about why my brain is such trash. We're gonna talk about it. But not right now. Right now, we're gonna talk about a book. We're gonna talk about a book. A good book. A book that I didn't think I would like. TBH. Yes, I did just use text lingo. That I didn't think I would like as much as I did. I mean, I kind of had a feeling I would like it, but I didn't know I would like it as much as I did. And I don't know if it was, no, it was the main male character. I didn't think I would like him as much as I did, but I did. Oh my God. Okay, let's get into it, shall we? In today's video, we will be breaking down this book, Oaths and Omissions by Sav R. Miller. This is book 3 in her Monsters and Muses series. I have already reviewed books 1 and 2, which are Promises and Pomegranates. All of these books make me tongue-tied. I'm just saying. Promises and Pomegranates is book 1. It was good. Not my fave. Book 2, not to look creepy or anything, but book 2 was my favorite. And that was Aiden's book, which was Vipers and Virtuosos. Oh God. He could get it all day long. That was my favorite. And this is book 3. This is Jonas's book. We're going to talk about Jonas because Jonas was like he's a cool Brit. So I thought he would be like very cold and standoffish. No, he burns hot. Yes, he does. So we're going to talk about it. But first, let's do the deets for the book, shall we? This book and all the books in this series are free to read with Kindle Unlimited. If you want to purchase this book for your Kindle, you can do so for the price of $4.99. If you want this beautiful, lovely, already discreet cover, because you know how I feel about discreet covers. Okay, here's the thing. Oh God, I'm going to go off on a tirade again. Here's the thing about discreet covers. I'm not against discreet covers as a rule. Okay? That's a lie. Let me retract what I just said. I am against discreet covers. I'm against what discreet covers stand for. Okay? I'm against the message behind discreet covers. And that is that women should be ashamed of what they read. Let's be honest, right? The whole purpose of a discreet cover is so that people won't know that you're reading a romance novel because society judges you for reading a romance novel, right? Because they don't consider it real literature. And because somebody sitting in the doctor's office across from you sees a half-naked couple on the front of your thing or a guy with his abs out and you're embarrassed, right? And you're automatically shamed. No, it shouldn't be like that. You should be able to read that with pride. I feel that way. You should be able to do that. You should be able to go, fuck you, old 95-year-old man across the doctor's office from me. Fuck you, go get your enema from Dr. Jacobs or whatever the fuck his name is. Go get your enema and let me read my book in peace. I can read whatever the fuck I want. And yes, it is real literature because it has a plot and a storyline. And whatever. I've learned more large words from romance novels and broadened my vocabulary to such an extent that I can talk to my family and literally piss them off. My brother gets so mad when I say stuff to him. I'll just drop like a 4-syllable, 5-syllable word into my sentence, and he'll just go, "Can you fucking stop?" And I'll be like, "What the fuck? What? I didn't say anything." "You do that shit on purpose. Stop doing that." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he'll be like, "I don't even know what the fuck you just said." I learned those words from romance novels. Did I learn them from the fucking dictionary? No. I learned them from these books. Okay? So don't tell me it's not real literature. You can learn shit. I also learned how to give a 5-star BJ, but we're not going to talk about that. All right? So going back to discreet covers, I should be able to read these with a half-naked man on the cover and not feel ashamed. So that's why I don't like discreet covers. However, I also don't like discreet covers that are put out for a cash grab. I fucking hate that. If you release a book and it has a cover with a guy with his shirt off on the front, and then you release the same title within 6 months, let's just say 4 months later, you release the same book with a discreet cover. No. You're just trying to get my money. You're just trying to get my money. Oh, we're gonna redo the whole series with that. No. You're just trying to get my money. However, books like this that come out already with beautifully aesthetic covers, I love these. So when I say I'm against discreet covers, I'm not talking about these. These I love. Nikki Harris's books, her Kids of the District series. Oh my God, those books are fucking stunning to look at. And they were printed that way to begin with. They were not originally released with couples on the front and then re-released for a cash grab 3 months later. No, they were released gorgeously. Beautifully aesthetic covers. I love those. I love these. Okay, so I love these types of discreet covers. All right, so tangent over. Let's get back to what we were talking about, right? If you would like this beautifully discreet trade paperback that I'm holding in my hand, you can get it for the price of $15.29. You can also get this book in hardcover from Amazon for the price of $24.99. I feel like that's pricey. I don't know who sets these prices. I don't know if Sav sets these prices or if Amazon set that price. Like if it's like a base price, I don't know. But I feel like that's pricey. I feel like Barnes and Noble's type, like Barnes and Noble-esque style hardcovers with like beautiful dust jackets, $24.99. A Amazon printed hardcover that's just going to be a hardcover with the picture printed onto it, $24.99. No, too much. $21.99. $22.99 maybe. Pushing it. Okay. This book is also available in audio. If I'm not mistaken, it has the same female narrator. I think it's Charlotte Claremont as the first 3 books. I like her voice. She's a good narrator. I enjoy listening to her. I have no problems with her narration. Now, let's talk about the audio narrator for Jonas. In the beginning, I did not know if I would like him because he did sound very stiff at first. Now, when I say at first, I mean literally within the first 5 minutes of the audiobook. However, I got used to him and I liked him. I liked him a lot. Okay, so yes, audio, you should. If you haven't, if you're on the fence, you should do it. You should do it. But it is a different male narrator than the earlier 3 books. Okay, I believe that the earlier 2 books. I believe that the first 2 books had the same male narrator, but obviously because this one has a British accent, I think it is a different male narrator. Don't quote me on that, but I'm almost positive. But you know I can't be sure of anything because I'm a fucking idiot. So, I think so though. Now, according to Amazon, this book has 404 pages. And you know we're going to do it because we always do it. I got 395 pages. Amazon. You lying hoe bags. Let's read the blurb and we'll break it down because we're 13 minutes in already. Typical. All right. So, the blurb for this one says, Lenny Primrose is a puppet, a temptress sent to make my life bloody miserable. Adored by the public and used for her father's benefit. Every man wants her, and every woman wants to be her. She's good for my reputation. That's the only reason I agreed to the little devil's proposal. I'm game, willing to play pretend to get what I want, until what I want is her. Now there are no rules. I'll wage a war against the world just to keep her. Even the deadliest men have their vices, and she happens to be mine. Okay, that's one thing I noticed about this book. So the first 2 books, the back of the book, the blurb, references mixed parallels between the 2 main characters of the book and mythological gods and goddesses type situations. This one didn't. And I'm not sure if that's because there are no parallels or if she just didn't do it. Or maybe it's supposed to be obvious and I'm just too stupid to notice. I mean, the last one is definitely a possibility. It's a probability. Let's just say that. Okay, let's break it down. Okay. The 2 main characters for this book obviously are Lenny and Jonas. What is Lenny's full name? I forget. Totally forget. Anyway, I'm spacing. Lenny and Jonas. Okay, so Lenny is the daughter of the, he's like a very, very influential businessman on the island where they live. The island where they live is like a tiny island off the coast of Boston. It is, he's like a real estate developer, allegedly. He's a fucking criminal, yo, okay? Her daddy's a criminal. He runs in a circle of criminals. They do a bunch of bad shit, all right? However, Lenny, has been raised as the face of his organization, like the political face, like the publicity side, like the publicity side. She's the face. There's a hair in front of my face. She's the face, right? So even as a child, like she did like all their advertisements, and like everybody knows her. She's famous, right? And she's little Lenny Primrose until one night when she's not engaged. I can't remember if she's engaged, but she's definitely on the fast track to engagement. She's dating this guy, Preston. Allegedly, he owes some debts, right? And he has to get out of them really quick. And he convinces her to sleep with this guy to help pay off this debt. She's young. She's easily influenced, easily bullied. She thinks she loves him. She'll do anything for him. So she does it. Preston is a high society prick. Okay? He's a piece of shit just like her father. I want to make a note of that. So she does it. Only what she doesn't know is that he's going to get her drunk. I'm almost positive roofie her, because I can't remember if that was completely explained or not, but I'm almost positive he roofied her. And then instead of it being one guy, it's going to be a group of men, and they're all going to take their turn raping her. Okay. Probably should have put a trigger warning. Probably should have put a trigger warning on this review. Trigger warning, this book does involve sexual assault. These books are considered dark romance. They are not for the faint of heart, okay? So they take turns with her. She's legit traumatized. However, next morning she wakes up. She tells her father what happened, and he doesn't believe her. And instead spins a story out to the public that she cheated on her boyfriend / fiance, Preston. And now everyone thinks that she's an adulterer and that she just went off. Now she's just basically labeled a hoe. So she was famous and she was the island's little darling until this happened. So since that time, she has done her best to get away from Preston. She has tried her best to distance herself from Preston. Preston can't take no for an answer. He's one of those typical want what you can't have type guys. So he's consistently badgering her and chasing her, etc., etc. So one night they're at a party in her family's house, and one of the guys that assaulted her is there, and he corners her. And Lenny is a painter. She paints for like cathartic release. She paints for fun. She paints as a hobby. She does not paint as a means of living, obviously, because she gets money from her family. She's her family is very well to do. So she's there, and the guy tries to come at her again. This friend of Preston's. Well, she digs the paintbrush out, where she always keeps a paintbrush hidden in her cleavage, of all places. She digs it out, and she stabs the guy in the throat. In the throat? I think, in the throat. Essentially, she kills him. And this murder is witnessed by Jonas. Jonas has a very shady past with Lenny's family, her father in particular, he tried to kill her father in the past and was arrested for an assassination attempt against her father. Jonas is the owner of a local dive bar that fronts a number of shady activities, including kind of like a spy ring, basically. Intel, assassinations, hits, murders, all kinds of gruesome things. His brother happens to be the mayor of the island, and has very high political aspirations. His brother's name is Alistair. His book is next. His brother is very tightly wound and doesn't like to get his hands dirty, so he hires Jonas out to do all of his dirty work. But you can tell Alistair is the type that if he has to do something, he's gonna do it. You know that thing where you read a book and the author writes the character so well that you find yourself already paying attention to the side character almost more than the main characters, and you're going, fuck, I want this book to be over so I can get to his book. Alistair. That was me. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't here for baby Jonas, because I was. Mm-hmm. So essentially, Jonas and Alistair are half-brothers. They have the same father. Their father used to work with Lenny's father in their crooked dealings. Lenny's father betrayed their father, which led to his death. Ever since that time, Jonas has been bent on revenge against Lenny's father. Lenny's father didn't see it coming, did not know that Jonas planned an attack against him. Jonas basically came out of the woodwork and attempted an attempt on his life. And Lenny found her father as a child, I think she was 12, bleeding out in the kitchen on the floor, and saved his life. She eventually grew up to learn what a piece of shit her father was. But at the time, she didn't know any better, so she saved his life. She found him, she got help. After that, Jonas was in hot water. So now, he's free. And I don't know if I can't remember if he knows that Lenny is the one that called and got him help. I think that comes at the end. But anyway, so now he's just witnessed Lenny kill this guy. Lenny, as they're talking, as they're doing their little back and forth banter, after she gets over the shock of having just killed someone, she almost seductively manages to get his prints on the paintbrush. And then she basically just tells him, your prints are on the murder weapon now, so I'm going to leave you to take care of the body. And she walks out. Which he does. He does take care of the body. He leaves it hanging in the family's garage, which essentially leaves her father to take care of the body, unless he wants the police involved. So, yeah. Later, however, Lenny comes up with this plan. She wants away from Preston. Preston is dogging her heels hardcore. Her father and her mother are badgering the shit out of her to get her to take Preston back. They want her to marry Preston. She does not want to do that. The idea of it is like bugs crawling under her skin, obviously, because of what happened to her. So she comes up with this idea. I'm gonna go to Jonas and I'm gonna ask him to sign this contract that basically says we're gonna enter into a relationship together, but it's gonna be a fake relationship. We're gonna get like fake, we're gonna be in a fake relationship, like boyfriend, girlfriend, but we're gonna put it out to the media. We're gonna be seen by like the paparazzi and everything because they follow her around all over. The island is constantly waiting for her to fuck up again. And so, and like obviously the assassination attempt by Jonas was hot news. So, you know. Now Jonas has incentive to sign the contract as well, because Alistair is trying to further his political career, and Jonas is not helping him look good at the moment. He's like a little black stain on Alistair's ballot. And he needs Jonas to look good. So Lenny comes from a very influential family, and even though her past is a little bit, if they're seen together, it would make Jonas look better. So he convinces him to go for it. Do it. So he does. And he agrees to it, but under the one condition is that he gets to have sex with her. She has to give him her body, because he's not going to do it unless he gets to fuck her. And when he said that, I was like, oh, woo. Because listen, accents, dirty shit said in accents is like, oh my God. I get parched just thinking about it. Like British accent, Irish accent, Scottish accent, like Russian accent. Oh God. Okay. So they enter into the contract. The more time Jonas spends with Lenny, the closer and more attached he becomes. He finds himself slipping up and becoming more protective and more possessive of her. And he accidentally slips up and calls her his fiance at one point, which kind of like ups the ante. And he doesn't intend to do that. But after that, he's like, well, I've already done it, so fuck it. She's my fiance now. She's not my girlfriend. And so now she's his fiance. His fake fiance, obviously. But over the course of the book, he still plans to take his revenge against Lenny's father. He plans to kill Lenny's father. He wants to kill Lenny's father. He's partially using her to get closer to Lenny's father to kill him. He takes Lenny out to his beach house. He has a beach house that used to belong to his mother. And his mother kind of like abandoned him when he was very young and just disappeared. She left. And it fucked him up really badly. So he takes her out to the beach house and she stays there. And when he works, he leaves her, he basically locks her in. He puts up like a ridiculous security system with like fingerprint ID scanners and all this other rigmarole, cameras everywhere. Okay, there's someone skulking around the beach house throughout the book. We don't know who it is, but there's like a shadow watching everything they do. So during their time at the beach house, they get closer, and obviously they start to have sex. He notices very quickly that she has an issue with like not necessarily claustrophobia, but issues with being restrained in any way, or like held down, or like constrained. If she feels trapped in any way, she starts to freak out, as you would, obviously, by what she's experienced. So at a certain point, he doesn't necessarily forces her, but he encourages her to tell him, and she does. She tells him what happened with Preston, the bare bones of what happened with Preston and his friends. And he becomes irate. He goes on, unbeknownst to her, behind the scenes, he goes on a killing spree. And he abandons his, not necessarily abandons, but he drives focus away from his plans of revenge against Lenny's father and the men around Lenny's father who orchestrated his own father's death. And instead focuses on the list of men who were there the night that Lenny was brutalized. And he starts grotesquely killing them to avenge her honor, obviously. So fucking romantic. And shortly after that, his mom comes back. He finds her skulking around the beach house, thinks that that's the person that's been watching them. It's not. He turns out the beach house that they've been staying in is still in his mother's name. And she essentially says, "You can't kick me out. This is my house." She tells her sob story of why she left, which was essentially just, "I was really young and really stupid. Please give me a pass." It was more involved than that, obviously. But I don't know if I would have forgiven her. He does not. He still stays mad. But towards the end of the book, it does make it sound like he plans to eventually come around. He finds out from Alistair that they're hosting a gala at an art gallery for Alistair, a political gala. He decides to showcase one of Lenny's paintings at the gala. It's at this gala that she not only sees the painting, but overhears him and Preston talking. And Preston basically telling him, "I know you're killing all my friends for what happened to Lenny." And she overhears that conversation. And Then when he comes out of the room, she becomes angry. And he basically says, like, I had to avenge you. And she feels like he took something from her. That it wasn't your vengeance to mete out. It wasn't your justice. It was mine. Like, you shouldn't have done that. And he's like, I couldn't breathe knowing that those men were still walking around. And that entire conversation was like, and then he tells her that he loves her, that he's in love with her. And she's so stunned that she doesn't say it back. But while he walks to the bathroom to get her paper towel to wipe her face because she's been crying, she decides, fuck it. If we're gonna do this and we're really gonna make a thing of this, because I do love him and we're gonna make a real thing of this, everybody, all the players who are involved need to be off the board. Preston is the last player on the board, and he's just walked out of the back door of the gala. And I'm gonna go after him and I'm gonna take care of him myself. And that'll be her cathartic release, right? So she goes out the back door after Preston. She doesn't make it very far. She goes out the back door and immediately a bag goes over her head and she gets taken. Jonas, coming back, thinks that she's run, that she got spooked because he told her he loved her and that she ran from him at first. Okay. So the person who took her, obviously Preston, the piece of shit, took her to her own house, Primrose Manor, and has set the scene for another night of fun. However, there's a little twist. It turns out that the debt that he owed the first time was not a gambling debt like he told her. The debt that he owed was actually a debt that he owed to her father. And her father knew what was going on and what happened to her. And he just considered it her contribution to the family. Yeah, disgusting bastard. So she wakes up in her house and she manages to get loose. The power has been cut to the house. And she knows that if she can just find a hiding place in the house and hide long enough that Jonas will find her. She knows the inner workings of that house better than anyone. Growing up, Lenny has issues with impulse control, is the only way that I can describe it. Food, shopping. When she is stressed, when she's anxious, when she's upset, she impulsively, like it's like a compulsion. She will eat junk food. She will go out and spend money buying things she doesn't need. She'll do these things as like a nervous habit. And growing up in her house, she was constantly stressed out. So she knew how to navigate around the house at night to get to the kitchen to eat. Her weight was always fluctuating. Her mother was always dragging her, that bitch, for her weight going up and down. But she knows how to get around at night in the dark. So she knows how to move around the house. So she goes and she tries to find a place to hide. Unfortunately, she gets caught by none other than her father. Her father, who, again, turns out was in on this the whole time, and now wants her to go downstairs and do her fucking duty and get banged by all these dudes to get him out of hot water, because apparently he's broke. He has no money, and what money he did have was, I guess, like an escrow, or like he owed to the local mob boss, and now he's in a bunch of financial trouble. So he needs his daughter to bang his way out of these problems. So he basically grabs her by the hair and tries to drag her back downstairs. They're in like an upstairs bathroom during this time. They have like a scuffle. Out pops her trusty paintbrush. He beats the crap out of her first, obviously, because he's a giant man. And he roughs her up a good bit. But she manages to get the paintbrush out from between her boobs. And then she stabs him with it. And then she does it again. And again and again and again. And she kills him with the paintbrush in the bathroom. And then she basically pushes herself up against the door or the cabinet, and she just like cries hysterically. And that's where Jonas finds her. He picks her up and takes her downstairs. Puts her on the couch. At some point she passes out. She wakes up and she finds herself on the couch downstairs. Preston is tied up, naked, tied up against the wall with a gag in his mouth. There's a very interesting scene that follows where they have sex in front of him, which I thought was very unique. Then she goes over and she slices his dick off before Jonas gets to kill him. And it's cathartic for both of them. And she tells Jonas that she loves him and they live happily ever after at the end. So yeah, the entire thing gets covered up. It's a whole big mess. Her mother runs off to God knows where. She just disappears. She takes the family money and she goes, but who the fuck who cares about her anyways, right? She was a bitch and she didn't do shit for Lenny to begin with. So bye bitch, bye. Lenny had two brothers. One is gay. The other is like a stuffed shirt lawyer in the city. And his name is Cash. And if I'm not mistaken, his book is number 5, which is coming out soon. He ends up getting together with Elena's younger sister, the ballerina. I forget her name. I can't remember her name. But if you remember Elena from book 1, Promises and Pomegranates, I think her name was Elena, I think. The main female character from Promises and Pomegranates, her younger sister, Lenny's older brother, ends up getting together with her. And that's book 5. So after Alistair's book, which is next, which is book 4, then comes Cash's book. That's coming out soon, or up next, whenever. So yeah, there is an epilogue to this book, which has, which basically tells like Lenny is going to interior design school. She's decided to combine her love of shopping with her love of art, and she's going to do interior design. So she's kind of like feeling her way through life, because she didn't know what she wanted to do with her life prior to this. Like she's never had an identity of her own. You know what I mean? So she knew she didn't want to sell her art. She always wanted to just do art to do art. I mean, just to paint. She didn't want to be a painter, like professionally. But now she can do some amalgamation of art and something else. So she's going to do interior design. It does also allude to, like I said before, Jonas attempting to have a relationship with his mom for the sake of their future kids, which is really nice. So yeah, that's the end. Yeah, I think that's it. For the rating for the book, I would give it a solid 9.25. Yeah, let's do 9.25 because it was better than a 9. But I think I gave Aiden's a 9.5 or a 10. I can't remember. Fuck. I don't know. My brain is whacked. Anyways, so yeah, that's it. I'm done. Would I recommend this series to other people? Yes, definitely. Like I said, the first book in every series turns out to be my least favorite. That's just personal preference. I don't know what's wrong with me. A lot of people loved Promises and Pomegranates. Everybody loved Cal. He just didn't do it for me. I don't know why. But he was good. It just wasn't my favorite. I'm Queen of Book 2, apparently. It's my title, Queen of Book 2, because Book 2 turns out to be like my favorite or much better. So yeah, I loved Book 2. However, Book 3, Jonas, you British heartthrob. Anyway, so yes, I would highly recommend this series to people. I would recommend this book to people. If you're gonna do it though, start them in order and read them in order. Do not read this as a standalone. You will make Candace very sad. You will make Auntie Candace very sad if you read this as a standalone. Okay? Thank you. So yes, I think that's it. I thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, and if you like me, if you like my channel, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate it. If you would like, you can follow me on social media. I will link them all in the description box below, and I'll put a little banner here on the screen for you guys to see. And I will see you guys in my next video. I love you so much. Bye. Oh boy, that's bright. That's bright. I'm not sure I look good in that amount of brightness. Okay, anyways, well, we're gonna have to go with it because unfortunately that's my face. So we're back. We're back with another video. And now we're back with another video. Let him get comfortable so he cannot move for the rest of the time that we're talking, because if he does, I'm gonna lose it. Okay, here we go. Hi. Manic Candace, calm down. Calm down. Okay. You lying hoe bags. I need to wet my whistle. You know what's in this cup? Definitely not tea. Okay, I know I haven't done that in a really long time. Okay, now, a temptress. Candace. You're gonna get your shit together and you're gonna do it quick. Because if you don't, okay, let's try that again. She's seriously dating this guy, Carter. Carter? Is that his name? What the fuck is his name? Preston, haha. And seen, and seen, and seen, and seen, and seen. And now we are done. Let's talk about my brain fog. Shall we? Let's talk about my brain fog, shall we? Okay, so I, like many other Americans, or well, not even Americans, people around the world, because it's not discriminatory, have had COVID, right? Don't you hate when your lipstick gets clumpy in your mouth? Have had COVID. Okay. I did not know that there was a thing called long COVID. Apparently there's a thing called long COVID. Long COVID is like the long-term side effects of COVID. One of the long-term side effects of COVID, and I was doing reading on this, one of the long-term side effects of COVID is called brain fog. It is apparently one of the least studied side effects, but one of the most prevalent side effects. A university was doing like trials, like not trials, but like studies on patients who had this brain fog. One of the women made a joke that her and her husband had dubbed this symptom or this side effect her "so yeah" syndrome, because she would start talking and then in the middle of a sentence she would just trail off and go, "So yeah," because she would forget what she was saying because she lost her train of thought. And when I read that, I literally went, oh my God. Oh my God, that's me. So, apparently like this brain fog affects your cognitive brain functions, including your memories. And some people get that brain function back after like a year or two, and then some people never get it back. So yay. Fun. So yeah. Fuck. How many times have I been talking and I've just trailed off and gone, so yeah. Or, I forgot what I was saying. Or, what was I saying? What were we talking about? Oh my God. So anyway, that is what I believe is affecting my brain and my ability to remember stuff. Because my brain is very bad. Anyways, I have been talking for a really long time, and I'm going to now stop talking because you've been here for much longer than you should have been for a 400-page book, technically 395 pages, you lying Amazon bastards. So yeah. I love you guys so much, and I will see you later. Why does Amazon always send me books with fucked up corners because they don't pad their packages. Fuckers. Anyway, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video.